everyone. So we are the group 2. So here are the members of our group: Raymond De La Cruz, Ashley Ulysses Fernandez, Jericho Fernandez, Harley Dwayne Francisco, Marifel Damatan, Mary Grace Casem, me, Decibel Eden, and lastly, Kyra Gaplutan. So we are here to report under Chapter 5, Social Interaction. Let's start. Chapter 5, Social Interaction. Overview. So in this lesson, you will know the overview of the certain topic, what is meant by the social interaction, the social mechanism used in conversation, what is meant by the social presence, overview of technologies for supporting social interaction, how has social media changed how we keep in touch, and lastly, we will know the new social phenomenon arising from being able to connect online. Social interaction. So, yung pagkaintindi ko dito sa social interaction, ito yung ugnayan ng bawat isa kung paano makisalamuha. Means, we live together, talk to each other, and socialize. Example of social interaction: family games with Alexa. So, others have a negative impact on every conversation, like others can also access echo conversation. Next question is, are we spending too much time in our own digital bubbles? So, for me, it's a yes, because we find ourselves in a digital filter bubbles. Anytime we're only surrounded by views and opinions to make a balanced decision. Next question is, question raised by social tech. Are F2F conversation being superseded by social media interaction? So for me, it's a yes, because we have now called the new normal and much easier to communicate with one another by messaging or video call through online conversation. Next question is, how many friends do you have on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and so on versus real life? So I have more than 4,900 friends in Facebook and other social media. But that's not the same thing as having in real life, because my friends in real life are only half of that. How much do they overlap? So from F2F to online interacting, we use many social media to interact one another. And sometimes you just want to have many friends to become famous in social media, just to have many likes and etc. So we didn't know our overlap. Next question is, how are the ways that we live and interact with one another changing? The internet has turned our existence upside down. It has revolutionized communications to the extent that it is now our preferred medium of everyday communication. In almost everything we do, we use internet, like if you want to order via online shopping, and much faster to get updated updates. And lastly is, are the established rules and etiquette still applicable to online and offline? So for me, the internet often plays a huge part in many young people's daily in activities, allowing them to communicate freely with others, sharing information with ease via messaging apps, social media, and gaming networks. But all of these have a negative impact if you don't aware on what you are doing. So we need to be guided on how to be respect others and take time to have a read of the rules of community standards for being learning on online websites.
Conversational mechanisms. Various mechanisms and rules are followed when holding a conversation face-to-face, such as mutual greetings. So, conversational mechanisms are like openers. Ito yung ginagamit mo para mag-open ka ng conversation or topics, such as, hi there, hi, how are you, how is it going, so how's life treating you, etc. Conversational rules. Sachs et al. of 1978, conversational analysis or conversation purpose, 3 basic rules. Rule number 1, the current speaker choose the next speaker by asking an opinion, question, or a request. Rule number 2, another person decides to start speaking. And rule number 3 is the current speaker continues to speak. In relation to the conversational mechanisms, the first speaker would choose the next speaker by asking questions such as, how are you? What's going on with your life? And then the other speaker will answer the question, and then the first speaker will continue to ask questions. And that's conversational rules. More conversational rules. Turn-taking such as coordinate conversation. Itong conversation rules naman na ito, conversational rules are turn-taking or nagsasalitan kayong nag-uusap. The other one is back-channeling to signal to continue and following. So, back-channeling are, what do you call that? These are mannerisms such as or with a long, yung mahabang pag-a na, and there's another continuous statement after that. Further conversational rules. Farewell rituals. Example, these are see you later, bye, or these are ending rules, ending conversation. The explicit and implicit cues are, for example, when you are looking to your watch or spinning your quotes, that is implicit. The explicit sayings are, oh dear, look at the time, I must go, I'm running late. Or you could say oh, it's already noon, I am so hungry, I need to go.
Breakdown in conversation. If there is wrong perception by the receiver, as a result, communication is less effective in an attention. At times, we just not listen, but only hear. For example, a traveler may pay attention to one no parking sign, but if such sign is put all over the city, he no longer listened to it. What happens in online conversation? In a fluid, flexible conversation, no one is constantly in control. Control passes as the conversation moves from speaker to speaker. Ideas and thoughts attach and change the direction of the conversational thread to take in a direction the speaker wants to go. In online social media experiences, conversation is often input via keyboard within the context of a blog comment box, a Twitter stream, or a social networking site thread. Not all such social media inputs really qualify as conversations. Individual comments that stand alone are better defined as remarks than as conversation. Remote conversations. The number of face-to-face conversations is consistently decreasing as new technology is increasingly available. We attempt to add back some of the nonverbal information lost with the addition of visual cues. These cues are in the form of visualized auditory data. That is, one sees what one hears. We will look at evolution of the conversation. Mapping program in this thesis. Using for visualizations, we ask as users to describe to us how the visualizations aided to or disrupted their conversations. With that feedback, we try to discover any support the program gives users. We conclude with our results on how to continue adding back the nonverbal cues in conversations. Early video phone from the 1960s. The history of video telephony covers the historical development of several technologies which enable the use of live video in addition to voice telecommunications. The concept of video telephony was first popularized in the late 1870s in both the United States and Europe. Although the basic sciences permit its very earliest trials would take nearly a half century to be discovered. This was first embodied in the device which came to be known as the video telephone or videophone, and it evolved from intensive research and experimentation in several telecommunication fields: electrical telegraphy, telephony, radio, and television.
Video Window System, Bellcore 1989, shared space that allowed people 50 miles apart to carry on a conversation as if in the same room drinking coffee together. 3 times what picture window between two sites with video and audio. People did interact via the window, but strange things happened throughout 1990. So, ang proyekto daw ng video window system sa Bellcore ay may mga ugat na dalawa. Ang kasaysayan ng video bilang isang teknolohiya sa komunikasyon ay mayroong technical na paglalarawan. Diagram of video window image. Findings of how video window system was used. Talk constantly about the system. Spoke more to other people in the same room rather than in other rooms. When trying to get closer to someone in the other place, it had opposite effect. Participants went out of range of the camera and microphone. No way of monitoring this. So, ang video window teleconferencing system, ginagamit ang mga diskarte sa pagproproseso upang maiwasan ang pag-ring at pag-feedback ng auditory. Video conferencing and telepresence rooms. Many to choose from to connect multiple people, for instance, or Zoom. Customized telepresence rooms for groups. So, halimbawa, ang karamihan sa mga settings ng telepresence ay ginagaya ang itsura ng isang tunay na silid ng pagpupulong. Ang mga taong lumilitaw sa camera ay may 1:1 ratio kaya't mukhang nakaupo sila sa isang upuan sa tapat ng silid.
So today I'm gonna explain about the telepresence robot, which is a remote control wheeled device that has wireless internet connectivity. Typically, the robot uses a tablet to provide video and audio capabilities. Telepresence robots are commonly used to stand in for tour guides, night watchmen, factory inspectors, and healthcare consultants. In a distance education class, a telepresence robot can move around the room and interact face-to-face with individual students, just as an on-premises instructor might. In a business, a telepresence robot can be used to help an employee whose disability or location prevents him or traveling still and have a physical presence in the office. And now I'm going to explain about the telepresence and social presence. Telepresence refers to one party being present with another party who is present in a physical space such as a meeting room, and the social presence refers to the feeling of being there and with essential features of cyberspace, social presence and telepresence play critical roles in online commerce. However, it remains unclear whether and how they can shape peer-to-peer accommodation customers' purchase intention. This study models the impact of social presence and telepresence as being mediated by three emotional responses: trust, enjoyment, and sociability. The model was then tested by structural equation modeling using online survey data comprising 571 Chinese peer-to-peer accommodation customers. Result suggests that three dimensions of social presence, social presence of web, other buyers and sellers, and telepresence indirectly influence customers' purchase intention via different mediating routes. These findings point to a new marketing strategy where customers' participation can be encouraged by improving presence elements and thus can be valuable for peer-to-peer accommodation operators to retain and develop customer base. So today I'm gonna explain about the Facebook's vision of socializing in a 3D world using VR. This I'm gonna explain about Mark Zuckerberg's posted October 6, 2016. So I'm just gonna recap about it. Facebook's founder Mark Zuckerberg posted an unusual selfie with his wife and dog this morning. It's supposed to preview a future in which millions or billions of people hang out with friends inside virtual reality. Zuckerberg took the photo at an event in San Jose, California, as part of a demonstration of a social app in development for his company's Oculus Rift virtual reality headset. He wore a headset while controlling a legless avatar that made him look younger and chatted with two colleagues with cartoonish bodies of their own. The billionaire setup is his unusual family photo teleporting into a 360-degree video feed of a room inside his home and looping in his wife Priscilla Chan via video chat. He snapped the photo by controlling a virtual selfie stick using Oculus Touch motion controllers that are set to be released in December.
How much realism and emotions are necessary? If the design is to be realistic and real, then archetypal isn't what you are going for and you need to focus on realism and predictability. If the design is more focused on the experience and the moment-to-moment, fine, then ignore realism if it gets in the way. This is why you have a design phase, where you figure out the design layers. What is co-presence? Co-presence is the period
gestures, and hand raising. Formal meetings, explicit structures such as agendas, memos, and minutes are employed to coordinate the activity.
Shareable interfaces, designed to capitalize on existing forms of coordination and awareness mechanism. Several studies investigating whether they help people to work together better have found more equitable participation, more natural to work around, more comfortable sitting around the table standing in front of a display. So, the word shareable. So, they work together para maganda yung kakalabasan ng gawa nila. Parang meron silang unity para magawa ito ng maganda. Reflect table. This sweeps up to reflect. Local speech member of the group spoke. This microphones inform each individual activities. The study showed those who spoke the most changed their behavior the most. Those who spoke the least didn't change their behavior. Why do you think this is? So, napaka-very common and very obviously na po dyan sa presentation. So, my interpretation about that is just how video conferencing works. So, example like Gmail and telepresence robots like Gimlas, and also it is useful to be utilized by people with developmental difficulties or those who cannot go or coordinate with other people. Now, because of the technology that we have here will not be hindered or any longer, so meron na silang way para makapag-communicate sa ibang tao despite of their disability or despite of different problems that they have.
So playing together in the same space enables creative forms of collaboration, and through team building and collaboration, we learn to respect each other's and control our own immediate needs and impulses. And the next one is the social engagement. It refers to one's degree of participation in a community or society. It is a new advertising tool that being adopted by the businesses, that they move away from the unilateral style of traditional advertising and learning to interact with customers and forge long-term relationships with them. And next is the retweeting goes viral. Example of it is the Twitter battle between the actress Jela Andres and her husband who cheated on her. And the most retweeted tweet of the time was posted by a Japanese billionaire, Yosako Mezawa, on January 5, 2019, because he offered 1 million yen each 200 randomly selected people who retweeted the message and follow his account. And the last one is the dilemma. Michael is deciding whether to tell Roger that Phyllis is married when he received a call from Daniel. Daniel suspects his wife is having an affair. Since Daniel and his wife share many friends and contacts with Michael, Daniel asks if Michael has heard anything regarding an affair. What should Michael do in this ethical dilemma? To whom does Michael owe greater friendship or loyalty in this situation? No matter who he tells, he knows that it is going to end up hurting one if not both friends. Should Michael reveal to Roger that Phyllis is married? Should Michael tell Daniel he knows about Roger and Phyllis? Does that fact that Daniel asked him a direct question have an impact on what Michael should do? And should Michael speak up to both Daniel and Roger? Does he remain silent and hope his knowledge is never discovered?
In this lesson, you will know the summary of certain topic, like social interaction. Social interaction is central to our daily lives, means we live together and talk to each other and socialize. Next is social mechanism. So social mechanism like turn taking enable us to collaborate and coordinate our activities. Means conversation is face-to-face, such as mutual greetings. Next is noted that keeping aware of what others are doing and letting others know what you are doing are important aspects of collaborative working socializing. Next is many technology systems have been built to support telepresence, social co-presence, means enable groups to work, learn, and socialize more effective together. And lastly, social presence refers to the feeling of being there with a real person when in a virtual reality, means present in physical space such as meeting. That's all. Thank you.